Hey, what's up dudes, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. Today we have probably one of the biggest mid-chapter developer updates I've been a part of. Really one of the biggest updates I've been a part of in general. I mean, this thing is crazy. We got killer buffs, we got killer nerfs, we got perk buffs, we got perk nerfs, add-on buffs, add-on nerfs. Like, it's insane the amount of stuff they have in here. So we're going to be going through it. It might be a longer video. There's also an event happening where we could get a mid-chapter survivor tease, so there might be another video for that today, but we'll get into that. Before we do get into it, I would like to ask you guys, if you are updated, informed, or entertained, please consider hitting that like button. It does help out the video a lot with visibility, and it means a lot to me. And also, if you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That also means a lot to me, and it really does make a difference with the channel. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So I swear I love Dead by Daylight, but these are some changes we've been asking for a long time and always been told we didn't really need. So I'm wondering what's happened behind the scenes with like developers and stuff. Anyway, let's start out. The first update, we have killer updates, and we have the trapper. It says, starting things off with a bang, or rather a snap, we made a series of small changes to the trapper. Did you know that the number of bear traps that spawn on the map is random? That's right, each trial will spawn between 4 to 6 bear traps at random. Now you can take this interesting little fact and completely forget about it, because that's no longer how it works. Now 6 traps will always spawn, not including the traps you load and carrying. This takes away some of the random element in playing the trapper and makes each match feel more consistent. Having more traps is great and all, but wouldn't it be nice to carry more than one without add-ons? We sure think so. Yeah, me too. We all have for years, dude. The trapper will now be able to carry and start with 2 bear traps by default. This will help you get up and running quicker without relying on add-ons. The trapper bag add-ons have been adjusted or repurposed accordingly. Finally, on the subject of add-ons, we've done a pass on some of his least used add-ons and either increased their effects, removed their downsides, or gave them new effects entirely. We actually do have a look at 2 of his new perks. One is Tension Spring, a high tension spring that snaps back into place after being stretched. A bear trap resets 2 seconds after a survivor escapes from it. It's actually not half bad. And Trapper Sack, I don't know how to feel about this one. A crew leather sack suitable for foraging. All bear traps are carried at the beginning of the trial instead of spawning on the map. Bear traps cannot be picked up. I don't know how I feel about that one. I feel like even if you spawn with like 6 to 8 on you, it's not going to be very useful, especially if they can be broken. Well, I mean, unless you're running Tension Spring. But that says after a survivor escapes, so we'll see. But now we have to talk about the Spirit. Yes, the Spirit got reworked. I mean, it's not a complete rework, but it's definitely some major changes. The Spirit has been a strong killer since her release, and with that in mind, we made some changes that aim to increase her skill ceiling while also giving survivors some counterplay. When close to the Spirit's husk, survivors will not receive any indication that the Spirit is in phase walking. Originally, this was intended to be a fun mind game. Is she using her power or is she faking it? Though in practice, it often doesn't feel that way. This lack of feedback forces you to make a guess and hope it pays off, which can be great when it works out in your favor, but can also feel awful when it doesn't. To add more skilling to the Spirit counterplay, we're making 2 changes. Any survivor within 24 meters of the Spirit will now hear a directional phase sound. This lets you know whether or not she is phasing and also gives you a rough idea of which direction she's coming from. The Spirit's footsteps will now kick up dust while she's in phasing. Keen survivors may be able to pinpoint where she is. Additionally, we've done a pass on some of the Spirit's add-ons to bring them more in line and make the lesser used add-ons more appealing. Like the Trappers, some of these changes are small tweaks while others are completely new effects. No, like I'm not even going to try to pronounce these, but there's the name. The Scabbard of an Ancestral Blade, one crafted for the Yamoka family. During the Yamoka's haunting, use the activate ability button to return to the husk and end the haunting. That's interesting. And then we have another one that I'm not going to try to pronounce. Thin sparklers that light up summer nights and display the beauty of ephemeral moments in life. When Yamoka's haunting ends, the Spirit's husk explodes and any vault locations within 4 meters are blocked for 5 seconds. That is interesting. Killer add-on updates. What does moderately mean? How much more is tremendously compared to considerably? If you've ever found yourself in this situation, you're not alone. We use descriptive words like this to keep descriptions simple, but they end up causing just as much confusion since it's not immediately clear how much they're doing. With that in mind, we've done a pass on all killer add-ons to list their exact effects. We plan to extend this to the rest of the game, like items, perks, etc. in the future. On top of that, killer add-ons that apply a status effect will now have a brief description of what that status effect does. While our designers were going through hundreds of killer add-ons one by one to update their descriptions, they also noted down a few for changes as well. There's far too many to list here, but we've changed some add-ons for the following killers. The Hillbilly, the Nurse, the Shape, the Hag, the Oni, the Blight, the Wraith, the Pig, and the Ghostface. These changes focus mostly on unused add-ons or add-ons that are too weak / powerful. I already feel it, dude. They're going to change the one add-on, or maybe a few add-ons that make the Pig good. We also got some perk updates. Variety is the spice of life, and incidentally Dead by Daylight matches too. In an ongoing effort to give you more options to choose from, we're updating a huge list of perks. Without further ado, let's run through some of them quickly. Before we read them, I think they're missing the point of people not using other perks opposed to the meta perks. The meta perks are so much better than every other perk that no matter how much you buff these other perks without breaking them, you're not going to make them as good or more useful than the meta perk. With that being said, Visual, nice and simple. We're increasing the recovery rate from 10, 15, 20% to 20, 25, 30%. Additionally, Visual will now increase the recovery rate of broken, exposed, and oblivious status effects as well. In short, more situations where it's useful, and even faster recovery too. Babysitter / Guardian, another small tweak, the rescued survivor will now receive a speed boost for 4, 6, 8 seconds in addition to not leaving scratch marks or pools of blood. The aura reading duration also has been doubled. For the people can create some amazing moments, but the trade-off of being broken can make it very risky to justify using. We're decreasing the duration of the broken status effect from 110, 100, and 90 seconds to 80, 70, and 60 seconds. Hex Retribution, I actually like this one. Previously, Hex Retribution would only make a survivor oblivious if they clings to Dull Totem. Now interacting with any kind of totem will make them oblivious. Additionally, we've increased the aura reading duration once a Hex totem is clings to 15 seconds. That's incredible. Hex Blood Favor, the perk shipped with very safe conditions so it didn't get out of control. Upon reflection, we feel comfortable with removing some of these restrictions. Hex Blood Favor will no longer have a cooldown and will also activate upon successful special attacks as well. Jesus Christ, they're going all out this patch. Hex the Third Seal, just like the above, we've added special attacks to Hex the Third Seal as well. This should make the perk more practical on killers that focus more on dealing damage with their power. I wonder if both of those count for Huntress in any way, shape, or form. And then the last one, we have Hex Thrill of the Hunt. With boom perks making their way into the game, more on this soon, we've decided to give Thrill of the Hunt some love by extending the speed penalty from cleansing to blessing as well. Now this actually says a little bit more than it should, especially about like boom perks. Maybe the survivors actually have to track down the boom perk and give it a blessing, and then the killer has to break it. Who knows? But maybe it's something that the survivors actually have to worry about too. I'm very interested to know what's going on there. But then the very last thing for this part, because there's a part 2 coming out on Monday, which is insane to me. But the last thing for this part is item and character kill switch. So basically what they do for maps where they can immediately turn off a map, like deactivate a map if it's broken and like has a bunch of exploits, they're going to be able to do that for a item or character now. Probably mainly killer. I can't think of like many characters that have exploits by game breaking bugs, but more than likely killers do, so they can turn off a killer or they can turn off an item, and I think that sounds great. But anyways, dudes, this was a long ass video and we might have another one coming out here soon, so make sure you tune in for that. Let me know what you think about this developer update in the comments down below. I'm so interested to hear what you guys have to say. I'm a little upset about the Spirit nerf, because it seems like a little much. They should have definitely kept skill there for both sides, because originally it was, you know, the survivor, or not the survivor, but the Spirit who didn't have to have any skill, but now it's the survivor who doesn't have to have any skill. So they need to find that happy medium. I'm really happy about the trapper changes. I cannot wait for this patch, but let me know what you guys think. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me, dudes. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tooten. I've been your host, and I'll see you dudes next time. Peace out.